Hello, I'm PhotoFons, and today I'd like to talk about something that I'm pretty excited about, and that's my new camera. It's the Fujifilm X-M1. And I'd say for the past year or so, I've been doing quite a bit of research into mirrorless cameras because I wanted to see what all the fuss was all about. And after doing quite a bit of research, this is one that I chose. And I do want to say that out of all the great camera manufacturers out there, I couldn't really find one that's a terrible camera, but it just so happens that I'm sort of partial to Fuji, and I just saw some of these great images, and they were just super fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong, I still very much like my Nikons, especially like my the D7000 is actually doing the video. And I also still like the Nikon lenses that I'm using professionally, and especially like my 70 to 200 millimeter lens. But right now I haven't used this camera professionally, but I've been doing quite a bit of testing with it on some headshots of just friends, and then doing quite a bit of landscape photography with it. And I'm going to show you those results. So I decided to make a series of small videos as to some of the things that this camera does, and it is remarkable. I've had it now for about a couple of weeks. First of all, I do want to say that I guess I had this for about maybe close to 2 weeks, and when it first came out, I wanted the brown and the silver model, but it wasn't available, so I had to wait about 2 extra months, and I was getting a little antsy. But finally it arrived. I got the email saying that it has been shipped, and I got really excited. And then of course when I opened it up, it was even nicer than I thought it was, because I heard some people complain about the quality. But for the money that I'm paying for this, and the most important thing, the sensor that this thing has, actually this has the same sensor as Fuji's X Pro 1, which is our top of the line, and I think it's called the XE1. Same sensor also at a small price for what you're getting. And then I compared this to, I was looking at, the files on my Nikon D7000, which is still an awesome camera. I'm still, very much fond of it. And this is just different though. It's a little bit easier to travel with. But anyway, the images on this camera, on this sensor, and this lens, which is nothing more than a kit lens, it's a 16 to 50 millimeter lens, crystal clear. I'm going to show you a few images on this video that I took of people that have some beards, so you can count almost every hair in that, and that's with a kit lens, and that's pretty amazing. Now the sensor in here is Fuji's top of the line. It's called the APS-C X-Trans CMOS sensor, which is a 16 meg file, high resolution, extreme high resolution sensor. And another really, really cool feature that this camera has that I wanted was a waist level. Well, it could be a waist level or a ground level finder, or you can also, it tilts downward as well. So if you want to get it overhead, in fact, you can put this on a monopod and hold it way, way up, and then you can actually see what you're getting. You want to shoot above the crowd. But this sort of takes me back to my early days of professional photography, when my first really pro camera was a Mamiya C330, and even before then I had a Minolta Autocord, which was a waist level finder, and is really hard to look out of, and it was also backwards. Even my Hasselblads are actually waist level, and of course you have to spend several $100s more to get a prism finder, which allows you to shoot eye level, and this has it all included: eye level, waist level, ground level, way above the headshots. So I really like using this. And the other really cool thing about this camera is all the settings that you have on here. Now this actually, you can actually change your settings here if you wanted to, just using your thumb. So and this has some really precision dials on here for what the cost of this camera is. I guess you're paying mostly for the quality of the sensor, which alone is worth the money that you pay for this. But anyway, it's very, very lightweight, easy to hold, and then the settings on here is what's truly amazing. In addition to the regular custom manual aperture shutter priority program mode, some of the things that I liked is going into the advanced mode. If you go into the advanced mode, you have the option of choosing some really, really interesting filters on here that I have used in the last few days, and I really found just so just dynamic. They were just producing dynamic tones, and it's just really amazing. So we're going to show you some of those images probably in the next or the video after. But just to give you an idea, if you go into the advanced mode, you could choose from either the advanced filter, or you can also, if you want to, you could do multiple exposures with his camera. But we're going to go back. The thing that I liked a lot was the advanced filter. If you click on that and go further down, you have a choice of 4 different ones. My favorite so far that I've learned to play with is it's called the Create a Fantasy Effect by Dynamically Modulated Tone Reproduction. And it gives you some really, really beautiful, beautiful dynamic tones. And I guess that's why it's called that. And then also you can create uniformly dark tones with a few areas of emphasized highlights. And there's 2 other ones. You can do one high key. And there's also one that emphasizes the contrast and the color saturation, which is quite awesome also. So those are some of the cool filters that the advanced section has on the menu. And then you also have a portrait enhancer on here, which I didn't really use yet on portraits. I tried it on landscape, and it just gives a nice soft, almost like a dreamy look. And then we're going to cover that as well. And of course you also have the sport option. You have the landscape option here, and then you also have the portrait, more of a portrait, which actually gives you soft overall tone and beautiful skin tones. So this is just a special filter, I guess, that's on here for just a little bit of softening of the skin tones. So that's some of the settings that this camera has, and it's just truly amazing. Another cool feature about this camera is it's got a quick menu here. If you click on that, so it takes you to several different things that are used quite frequently. In fact, if you want to change your ISO, you can just scroll over. Right now we're at ISO 400. You can just use your dial here, the command dial, I guess they call it, and you can just change your ISO if you want to change it really quick. That's why they call this the Q button. That takes it to the Q menu. Something also that's really interesting here is the format. Now, if you go into the format, say if you go into the full menu, let's go into the image size, and then right now, see, I'm set to 16:9, and I can also go 3:2, and I could shoot 1:1, which would be a square format. So you have 3 different formats you could shoot at. 16:9, which is more of a widescreen, 3:2, which is more of a 4:6 type size, I guess. And then, of course, if you want to shoot square, that's 1:1. 1:1, of course, being square. So in the old Hasselblad days, and we used to love shooting square, because if you shot square and you had to, you can keep it square, or you can also make a rectangular image out of it. So let's take a look at a few images that were taken with this camera so you can have a look at the fantastic quality that this sensor has.